Hey guys, this is video number 3, and in this video we are going to look at integrating source info or source information into our paragraphs, taking it from the article and putting it after our transition into source, which we'll talk about as well, and before our commentary. So over here, last video we did our topic sentence, which is our prompts plus our main idea. And in this video, we're going to focus on these two pieces. The first thing you need to know is the transition into source can come in a variety of formats. So let's go ahead and move down to a clean page and talk about the ways we can do that. We can say things like, according to the article, in the text, it states that, and in here we could put in the title of whatever the text is, according to the article. And we really should have what's called a tag here. This is the tag. It states that. It says you can use a bunch of different ways to integrate this, or you can start by giving the title. Says, could be as easy as that. This article, if it's how to eat pizza says, you could do another thing really similar to that and say how to eat pizza informs the reader that. Any way you want to transition into source, you can. These are just a few examples. These are very simple. They're not super creative. You can find different ways to shuffle these around, just so long as you are telling me, the reader of your essay, where you got your information from, what that title is. I need that title. And we can't just say the title and then whatever, pizza. If it's about the title of how to eat pizza and the quote says pizza is good. So, how to eat pizza, pizza is good, is what that sentence would be. And that is not a complete sentence. So that is not something we want to do. But how to eat pizza informs the reader that pizza is good. And maybe that's a direct quote, maybe it's not. However it is you want to integrate that. This is a complete sentence. So the key when we do our transition into source and source info is that it's a complete sentence. Now, this is going to be a minimum of one sentence together. So I could say something as simple as, how to eat pizza informs the reader that pizza is good. But maybe I want more source information than just that direct quote, or maybe I paraphrased. Maybe it gave me a long explanation and this is my paraphrasing of that, because I can do 3 different things. I can direct quote, which is with the quotation marks. I can paraphrase, which is when it's not word for word and I've put it in my own words, which does not get quotation marks. Or I can do what's called a paraquote, where I can say, how to eat pizza informs the reader that pizza is good and should be eaten for dinner every night. Maybe that's the direct quote. So I have pizza is good that has been paraphrased. And then I have the direct quote, which is word for word from the article. And when I have paraphrased and quoted, I have nicknamed that the paraquote. So it's just a combination between paraphrase and quoting. Paraquoting is probably the best way and the most sophisticated way, the most advanced way to implement source information, because it's showing that you understand it and can put it in your own words, but are choosing key words to direct quote. We don't want to direct quote words like should be eaten. I mean, would that be okay? Yeah, but this that we chose to direct quote from our fictional article on pizza should be key information that cannot be said in a better way, or it's maybe more impactful to say it the way that the article has it. So these are all different ways to transition into source, and just remember, we want it to be so that it makes sense. So let's go into our article, and we're going to go and do our first body paragraph on this article, the Jay-Z article, where he is asking for charitable donations instead of birthday presents. Again, if you haven't watched the first two videos or you haven't read these articles yet, pause now, read the articles so that you understand what I'm talking about. The first thing I do before we're going to do that is set up kind of where we're writing. And I'm going to take this from our last video, video 2, where we talked about thesis statements, main ideas, and topic sentences. These are all topic sentences for body paragraphs. So after the topic sentence is where we will then put in our transition into source. So I'm going to go ahead and start building this paragraph up. The thesis is just up here for reference so that we make sure we're staying on task with our writing. So the article is called 5 Amazing Kids Who Make a Difference. There's a little tagline up here giving us a little bit more information. And then we have this first article. Now, I've read the article, and you have too. And I think what I want to talk about is first the key piece of information. That he asked his friends for charitable donations instead of birthday presents. Because that's our main idea. That's what we are talking about. He collected donations. So our topic sentence for this body paragraph says, kids can give back to their communities in a myriad of ways, one of which is by giving up their birthday presents and asking for donations to a charity instead. So I'm going to keep it simple. According to the article, and the article title was not capitalized. If it is, you can capitalize each of these words. In this case, it's not, so I'm just going to leave it the way that it is. Generally, just give me the title exactly as it is written. So 5 amazing kids who make a difference. According to the article, 5 amazing kids who make a difference, it states that. Here I'm going to paraphrase. I know it's his 10th birthday, but I want to put that in my own words because down here it says for his 10th birthday. It's not going, we're not plagiarizing by saying his 10th birthday because that's a very generic phrase. If we were taking something very more specific, it would definitely need to be in quotation marks, but I feel that in this case, we can just say that it's his birthday because I want to combine that with another section and then a direct quote as well. So in this case, I'm going to paraquote because I think that's what we should do for most of our things. If you're not paraphrasing, it should really be a paraquote. I want to start getting us away from direct quoting only because that's kind of like the easy way out. It's very simple and it's not very creative. It's not showing your ability to use the source information to its best ability. So it states that on his 10th birthday, and here I'm going to give his name like it is in the article, J.Z. decided, and here I'm paraphrasing this top part. It says ask their friends for charitable donations instead of birthday presents. So I'm going to say something like he decided that instead of getting birthday presents, he would ask his friends to donate to his local habitat. And habitat is capitalized because it stands for Habitat for Humanity. Now I'm going to reread this and see if I want to keep going or make it a separate sentence. So, according to the article, 5 Amazing Kids Who Make a Difference, it states that on his 10th birthday, Jay-Z decided that instead of getting birthday presents, he would ask his friends to donate to his local habitat. Yeah, I'm going to pair quote here. And then when he did that, and this is pulling from here. After learning that his hero, Clemson University quarterback, grew up in a habitat house. So just for this video, I'm going to go ahead and put this down here. But I don't want all of this. So I started in the middle. He made his selection. I took that out. I don't want that part. So instead of saying he made his selection, I've put the ellipses, which are the 3 dots. And I've said, there should be a space there. After learning that his hero, and I don't think it's essential for this article to say who his hero was. I think it is more important here to talk about the donating and the house and that it was a habitat house. So I'm just going to move on to grew up in a habitat house. And that, again, is not the end of the sentence, so I've added the ... Let's take that whole sentence over here so you can see what I have taken out of it. So he made his selection. I deleted that and replaced it with a ... or the ellipses. I've removed this section as well. And then I didn't think this was relevant to what I was speaking about right now. So the parts that I have kept out of that sentence are after learning that his hero grew up in a habitat house. That still makes sense grammatically. What you cannot do is take out these little sections if it didn't make sense. So when I read this whole sentence from start to finish now, from here to here, it is still grammatically correct. So this is my source info, or transition into source info. So transition, according to the article, source, 5 Amazing Kids Who Makes a Difference, source info. It states that on his 10th birthday, Jay-Z decided that instead of getting birthday presents, he would ask his friends to donate to his local habitat after learning that his hero grew up in a habitat house. Very good. Let's do one more. One more piece of source info. Let's go ahead and just paraphrase, because that's another really strong way to show that we can look at the information and really choose what's important and say it in our own words. So this is going to be in the same paragraph because I'm pulling from that same article. And so literally all you have to do is say the same article. So it's as if I'm putting 2 source infos in each body paragraph. So let's pretend it's this setup, because that's what I'm doing right here. It's this setup down here where I've got transition into source info 1, where I've quoted or paraphrased or paraquoted. I'll give commentary for this source info in the next video. I'm just going to talk about commentary in video 4. And now I'm giving what is optional this year, and it will not be optional in 7th and 8th grade, but in 6th grade, you do not have to give 2 pieces of evidence in one body paragraph to support one main idea, but you definitely can. And so that's what we're going to do here, just to practice another type of source info where we will paraphrase. So we're doing this source info too. So the same article, and I know what the article says, and so I'm not going to look at it again because I have it in my head what it says, and the best way to put something into your own words is to read it, not look at it, and then try and restate it. Because if you keep referencing it again, you're going to end up accidentally using those same words. So the same article lets the reader know that Jay-Z, and I'm referencing the end of that paragraph or that article if you want to look back at it, believes that more kids should be involved in habitat. So at the end he talked about how if more kids got involved. I used the word involved. I could even use a synonym there. But it is a direct quote in here. It's what he said, but I gave him credit because I said Jay-Z believes that more kids should be involved in habitat. So that's a way that we can paraphrase. It can be as easy as that. If I hadn't already referenced this article, I would want to say, according to the article, this again, maybe even saying in the text, 5 amazing kids who make a difference, or 5 amazing kids who make a difference says or states. 5 amazing kids who make a difference informs the reader that, again, those are all ways to transition into source and how you can do that. So here I have the topic sentence from my last video, 2 examples of how to transition into source and source info, and these are just within the same body paragraph. Again, you can quote, paraphrase, or do a combination of the two, which is also informally known as the paraquote. In our next video, we will tackle the commentary. We'll do 2 sets of commentary, one for each of these 2 pieces of source info so that you can see how to write that commentary. And also within that commentary, we will do a conclusion sentence at the end where we tie in those 2 pieces of source info together.